There are 10 reasons that I think the church will go before the tribulation. First of all, the fact that we're promised to be from the hour of trial, Revelation 3:10. And the word ek there, out of, promise out of thing, is from which we get the word exit, by the way. The church is not the object of God's wrath in Revelation 6:16. Contrast that with 1 Thessalonians 5:9. There's also a verse in Luke 21, verse 36, where it admonishes, watch ye therefore, and pray always that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things which shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. You escape, not endure the tribulation. How do you do that, by the way? That implies that there's a way to keep out of it, right? Did you follow that? Watch ye therefore and pray always that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things. How do you do that? You do that by being in his body that's raptured. Another verse in Luke 21. When these things begin to come to pass, look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. He says look up, not look out. You don't find any admonitions for the church to watch out for the Antichrist. Watch out, watch. No, look up. First thing before war is you call your ambassadors to home. 2 Corinthians 5:20 calls us the ambassadors of Christ. And before the war starts, he'll call his ambassadors home. Restrainers removed before the Antichrist. 2 Thessalonians 2, we looked at that. The rapture takes place in the twinkling of an eye, not as an extended activity. That's another issue that you can sort through. It happens in the air, not on the earth. And the woman in Revelation 12 is Israel, not the church. It's the body of the child that gets caught up. And of course, the marriage supper in heaven, it includes the raptured, and it happens before Revelation 19, verse 11 to 14. By the way, I've selected these 10 out of 50 that are listed in John Walver's book, The Rapture Question. There's plenty of literature on the subject for those who want to do their homework. So let's wrap it up. Let's talk about the proposal. How will all this affect you is the question. Back in John 14, the Lord said, let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. Do we really? Jesus said, in a few verses later, he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. So let me talk about it a little before we wrap up. Let's talk about him. We've talked a lot about eschatology and things. Let's talk about him. He's the King of the Jews. He's literally going to take the throne of David in Israel, which means he's also a national king. He's the King of Israel. He's King of all the ages, the King of heaven, the King of glory, and King and Lord of lords. And the real question is, do you know him? Do you really know him? He was a prophet before Moses, a priest after Melchizedek, a champion like Joshua, an offering in the place of Isaac, a king from the line of David, a wise counselor above Solomon, his beloved, rejected, and exalted son like Joseph, yet far more. The heavens declare his glory. The firmament shows his handiwork. He who is, who was, and will always be, the first and the last, the Alpha and the Omega, the Aleph and the Tau, the A and the Z. He was the first fruits of them that slept. He's the ego eimi, the Ihyach asher Ihyach. Yes, he said, I am that I am. He's the voice of the burning bush. He was the captain of the Lord's host. He was the conqueror of Jericho. He's enduringly strong, entirely sincere, eternally steadfast. He's immortally graceful, imperially powerful, impartially merciful. In him dwells the fullness of the Godhead bodily, the very God of very God. He's our kinsman redeemer, and he's also our avenger of blood. And he's also our city of refuge. He's a performing high priest, our personal prophet, our reigning king. He's the loftiest idea in literature. He's the highest personality in philosophy. He's the fundamental doctrine of theology. And he's the supreme problem in higher criticism. He's the miracle of all the ages, the superlative of everything good. You and I are the beneficiaries of a love letter. It was written in blood on a wooden cross that was erected in Judea some 2,000 years ago. He was crucified on a cross of wood, yet he made the hill on which it stood. By him were all things made that were made. Without him was not anything made that was made. And by him are all things held together. And what held him to that cross? It wasn't the nails. At any time he could have said, enough already, I'm out of here. It was his love for you and me. Amazing love. He was born of a woman so that we could be born of God. He humbled himself so that we could be lifted up. He became a servant so that we could be made joint heirs with him. He suffered rejection so that we could become his friends. He denied himself so that we could freely receive all things. And he gave himself so that he could bless us in every way. He's available to the tempted and tried. He blesses the young. He cleanses the lepers. He defends the feeble. He delivers the captives. He discharges the debtors. He forgives the sinners. He franchises the meek. He guards the besieged. He heals the sick. He provides strength to the weak. He regards the aged. He rewards the diligent. He serves the unfortunate. He sympathizes and he saves. His offices are manifold. His reign is righteous. His promises are sure. His goodness is limitless. His light is matchless. His grace is sufficient. His love never changes. His mercy is everlasting. His word is enough. His yoke is easy and his burden is light. I wish I could describe him to you. He's indescribable. He's incomprehensible. He's irresistible. He's invincible. The heaven of heavens cannot contain him. Man cannot explain him. Pharisees couldn't stand him, but soon learned they couldn't stop him. Pilate couldn't find any fault with him. The personal representative of the ruler of the world couldn't find fault with him. The witnesses couldn't agree against him. Herod couldn't kill him. The death couldn't handle him. The grave couldn't hold him. He has always been and always will be. He had no predecessor and he'll have no successor. You can't impeach him and he ain't going to resign. His name is above every name, that at the name of Yeshua, every knee shall bow, and every tongue shall confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. His is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen.